Welcome to Go Get This podcast, the podcast that we haven't got to say today, but we're going to be doing anyway. I am Colby.
And I'm Chala, Head Chala. You can call me Fee.
Chala! Head Chala! You know what's fun? I had never heard that. So if you haven't heard that song, it's a theme song of Dragon Ball Z. And I had never heard that theme song until I was at karaoke one night when I was like 34.
Jesus, like 2 years ago?
Yeah. The first time that I heard Head Chala was at karaoke at a friend's birthday party.
Go fuck yourself. No.
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
Wow. Okay. Wow. I didn't know I was doing a podcast with a fucking loser.
Yeah. The real Philistine.
I hate to be like, I've heard of it like long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Basically back when you could buy the DVDs of Dragon Ball Z on the orange pack.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You remember the DVD pack that was like fat and it was orange?
Oh yeah.
That's when I first heard it, but like, you know, back in the day, because we live in America, gun to my area, I'm sorry. We got the fucking Dragon
Ball Z. Yeah.
Just fucking
guitar.
It's a shame that they don't put like that version on like DVDs or give you the option.
Sincerely, there's something so good about like about hearing those like 90s overdubs and where they're like, we're just gonna take none of the music, and like for Dragon Ball Z specifically, it worked so well. All of the American music is, I'm gonna just go ahead and say it, except for Head Chala, it's infinitely superior.
Look, I can't argue with you there. Head Chala is good. It's just like, man, fucking Dragon Ball Z rock fucking riff is superior. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it is. It's great. And also, I'll say that like the atmospheric music that they add in, where it's like, you're like, oh shit, fucking, oh wow,
God.
things are intense now.
I probably said this a couple of times in the past, but like the bumpers for Toonami for Dragon Ball Z were like probably some of my favorite. Like I remember like distinctly, I think it was like in the Cell Saga, maybe the Frieza Saga, they made fucking Dragon Ball Z look super intense with this big horn intro. It was like, burr, burr, and it was just fucking horns. And then they would show like the best parts of like whatever arc you're watching.
Yeah.
But like the thing about it is like if you're like smack dab in the middle of Namek arc, like you get this intense intro from like the bumper, and then you get like fucking Rock the Dragon. And then you get into like a filler episode.
Yeah. You're like, oh man, I'm so excited. Like, I wonder what's going to happen next. Like we just wrapped up this one arc. So like, you know, I wonder what's going to happen next. Well, what's going to happen next is Goku's going to try to get his license. That's what's going to happen. You're like,
but see, like that is like an iconic episode. Like you love to watch it, but then you have episodes where like Gohan finds a robot in a cavern and he has to like fight off bandits and then the robot dies. And I'm just like, oh god, just please stop.
Yeah, there's so many episodes like after Cell Saga where it's like, Gohan is doing Saiyaman stuff, and you're like, okay, but like, I don't know, get to the point. Like,
yeah, no,
something's gonna happen soon, right?
There's like 10 episodes of filler after the Cell arc, and I hate it. It's the Saiyaman arc, and it's just like, oh, can we not? But like, can't we just start off with like one episode of like, oh, it's like 10 years from now, and Gohan is been training, and now there's a tournament arc. Like, fuck. I'm not gonna say that that Dragon Ball Z Kai is better. Everyone's like, oh, it's better, and the animations are like better. I'm like, no, I still prefer the old one, filler and all.
Yeah.
Because there's just something about it, right?
Yeah, it's got a vibe. So the thing is, like, it worked really well with Dragon Ball Z, but they did something similar with another show that came out, and they Like they did it so dirty. Um, Initial D, in Japanese
Oh,
has like the soundtrack is this crazy over the top like Euro beat. You got hits like Gas 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 and Running in the 90s, like all these amazing songs. And for whatever reason, when they dubbed it into English, they were like, let's replace this with rap. Like,
oh no.
why? Like, I maybe they couldn't get the rights to the songs or something,
Oh,
but like, good
so
lord, man.
so they could what's it called? They could get the youth
Yeah.
into this. So like, I don't.
They're like,
I never watched Initial D
they're
in
like, hey,
America.
let's get into you could watch like you could watch this anime that's not very well done. The art style is not a not a thing that people like. But there's rap in it. Isn't that great? Um,
Man, it's so cool, and the races are pretty cool, right?
yeah.
Um, I never watched Initial D in America, or like I've never watched it at all. Let's just say,
The thing is,
but
like, people will tell you like Initial D is great, and it's true, sort of.
okay,
Um, like right at the very beginning, the first like season or two, like it has that sports anime feel, but it's kind of hard to get by past the art style.
yeah,
By season 4, at the very least, it's solidified. So like how you take a look at like old One Piece, and then you look at
yeah,
like recent One Piece, and you're like, ah, yes, the art style has solidified. It looks a lot better. It's still like goofy kitty, like not super anime, but like its own thing. Um,
yeah.
but it's different enough. That's basically what happens with Initial D in like season 4. Um, so you got to push through, and then you get like decent animation stuff. But like, God, the races are so good. It's so sports anime where they're like, oh, there's nobody can take that turn at that speed. He's gonna die. It's great.
Can't relate. I haven't seen it, so I have no idea what it's about. But like the only like thing I know is like the memes, like the music, the fucking
Mhm.
are like fucking 2 lane drifting.
Yeah. Fucking yeah,
So
like the base premise of it is basically there's just some guy named Takumi, his name is Takumi Fujiwara, and by the way, in English they call him Tak, and I don't know why. They were
no one
like,
can
yeah,
say
we need to make the mouth movements match up with the people that are saying words in English. The only way we can do that is to abbreviate this man's name to Tak.
no one could say Takumi. What what can I? There were some guys like, well, no, there's no one ever named Takumi. That's not a
Yeah,
name.
no one's ever heard of that name. You can't be named that. That's stupid.
I it's so funny talking about that because like in America we got like Americanized names for like some anime.
Mm-hmm.
Not Dragon Ball Z, thank God.
Mm-hmm.
Not Dragon Ball Z. I know we got it in Sailor Moon
Mm-hmm.
and in One Piece on 4 Kids a few names were changed or one I guess. And that's Zoro and they named him Zolo for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And Sailor Moon, I think her real name is Usagi.
Yeah, and they named her
And
Serena.
yeah, fucking Serena.
Serena and Darian.
Okay, so like hate me all you want. I like the fucking PBS Kids Sailor Moon intro more than the Japanese one.
Yeah, she will never turn her back on a friend. It's so
Yeah,
good.
fucking fighting evil by moonlight.
That's a
I
great
don't know,
song.
it's fucking sick ass song.
They got like
um,
there's a lot of those like early dubs of anime. Yeah, it really hit or miss on like the things that they changed to like make good. Because like whenever they brought Yu-Gi-Oh over, they were like, "Oh yeah, Taya, that's her name."
T. Gardner.
You're like, why? Why are you changing this shit? But like, whenever they like, because Japanese music style, especially in the 90s of the time, Toei loves to like use the same sound effects over and over again.
They
And
still do.
they also love they also love to like insert in the middle of like something really intense and triumphant, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And then they're like, well, you know what that requires from us? It requires a song that has heavy amounts of trumpet and some guy screaming.
Like,
I don't know why that's a thing, but they do.
It's because it's like, I don't know. It's probably something to do with like, how can I say it? Maybe that's like some kind of shonen victory music or something. I don't know.
I have no idea, but it definitely is like, it definitely is a thing. And the more that you notice it, especially in like older anime, like if you watch a Japanese like older anime, you're like, Dragon Ball Z does it. Dragon Ball Super did it too. Like, and at the end of the tournament arc, like the Ultra Instinct theme, you can't get much better than that in Dragon Ball Super. But they also just for no reason were like, here's a song with a man yelling in it and a bunch of trumpet, and I'm like, fucking stop. Come on, man.
I don't know what it is with Dragon Ball Z and like trumpets, but it's like they're synonymous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of like horn, like brass went into Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And I'm for it. Fucking the Ultra Instinct is still like the best fucking song.
It's so good. Like I will listen to that song just apropos of nothing. It gets me so hype. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to write code I'm in pajama pants, like inside of my office, and it's raining outside. I'm like, I'm gonna write this fucking code so good.
I was thinking about that song like a little while ago. I was playing Lies of P, and I got like this new costume, and I put it on, and like in my head it was like, because it was like really fucking cool ass costume.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I don't know, it's just one of those things that like you think of constantly.
Yeah.
But yes, we're on the subject of Dragon Ball Z. A new trailer just dropped.
Yeah. A new trailer for
Dragon Ball Z Daikon.
Yeah.
Radish.
Yeah, that's the one. It's all about Raditz, actually, this one. He's coming back and he's the main character.
Hell yeah, finally.
I had been wondering, I was like, man, when's the next season of Dragon Ball Super coming? Like they did Dragon Ball Super Hero. Man, the next arc is going to be crazy.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. It is.
I guess, but here's the thing. They dropped the trailer for Dragon Ball Daimo. That's the name of it, Dragon Ball Daimo.
What does Daimo translate to?
Good question. I don't know.
Well, look it up.
Right now? Okay.
Look it up. I'll talk.
What does Daimo mean?
Daima.
Daima. I think it's D-A-I-M-A.
Yes, Daima. Because Daimo is like a big robot.
Daima itself doesn't have a literal meaning in Japan, but the characters used to make the word in Japan will translate to big/great and evil.
Yes! I was close. So yeah, that's the new trailer dropped. Mm-hmm. And you know what? I think it looks great. I think it's like a real fresh, everyone's kids. Mm-hmm. And I'm for it.
I'm much more on the tepid side than you are. Because I've seen this before and it was called Dragon Ball GT and it wasn't good.
Okay, yeah, see, but GT was like fucking weird and didn't have like it as much established as like Dragon Ball Z Super.
Yeah.
And like all the gods and stuff. They're just like Goku's a kid now, and they introduced the Black Star Dragon Balls. Mm-hmm. Now you gotta travel across the universe. Like, I like the regular Dragon Ball for whatever reason made people kids, and I don't know what the story is, but it looks fucking sick. Get to see Kid Vegeta and Kid Goku like fighting.
I will. Okay, here's what I'll say. There's some good parts of the trailer. Things that I was like, okay, that's going to be pretty hype. Like having Goku use the power pole again, pretty good. I like that. Because like toward the end, he's like twirling it around, and I'm like, okay, that's good. That's going to be. I have to
say they have them on new models as kids because fucking Goku looks like Goten now.
Yeah. Yep.
And if you remember, like he was just a little stubby fat kid.
Mm-hmm.
So like he looks different.
Mm-hmm.
Vegeta, I think we've only seen him a kid like a few times, so that's fine. He's goofy. We've never seen Bulma as a kid. Everyone has big heads in the show.
Yeah, hey,
Just
that's what kids
big,
look like.
yeah. Oh, big heads. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's
I
they got these big heads, they got these big eyes. That's just what children are.
that's the Japanese anime couldn't be more on point.
Yeah.
When I see a kid, it's just a monstrosity.
Yeah, yeah, I just scream. Every child, including my own, every time I see one, I go, ah! Oh, no, that's fine, it's fine. It's just a child.
You go pick your kid up to like in the morning. You're like, you ready to get up? Oh, just
Oh, Jesus!
it's just my son. It's it's not a fucking horror from the Eldritch realm.
It's not a guy, not a goblin that's come to get me. An actual real goblin.
Oh, it's so funny how like I guess kids are like small and pudgy and like big head and squishy, and then they grow up and look like people.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something happens to a child when they start growing up where they start to look more like a person and less like a child, and I know that it has something to do with like the size of their eyes in proportion to their head, in proportion to the rest of their body, but like man, it's
Yeah.
it's
It's funny
a
how
wild transformation.
it's funny how bones work. Yeah.
Yeah, bones. Who knew?
Anyway, I'm pretty sick. I'm sick. I'm pretty stoked for the show, despite
I
what like other people.
I don't like I said, I'm very much like I'm very much tepid. I'll watch maybe some of it, but like
I want to see how they got there.
yeah, I mean the one thing is this is done by Toriyama. So Toriyama basically like did some collaborations on Dragon Ball Super, but he wasn't the one in charge. Like somebody else was drawing it, and like
Yeah.
he was like doing story and stuff. But this was it. Like he wasn't the main guy behind Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Daima is apparently going to be him. It's him doing it, which
It feels like a Toriyama
it does,
thing.
and I don't know how good a thing that is because the thing is, as creators get like older, society moves on without them, and and then whenever they make something new, you go, ah, that wasn't as good.
Well, I mean, we'll see. Like, I have hope for him because, like, what has Toriyama done besides Dragon Ball Z for like 50 years?
Besides just freelance art, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, they have. Okay, so like, if you don't know, like Toriyama art has been used for like a lot of things. So like Dragon Ball Z, Chrono Trigger,
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Quest.
Dragon
Like
Quest,
Dragon
yeah.
Quest is like the big other Toriyama fucking art style.
Yeah.
And I Tobal, I think, on the PS1. Yeah, Tobal 1 and 2.
Some random ass game. Like, yeah, okay.
Well, I know, like, it's very random. Like, there's a select few people that are like, oh, fucking Tobal. If you look it up, like, right now, just for, like, the cover art, you're like, oh, yeah, that's fucking Toriyama.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean his art style is so distinct. I will say that he's been around so long that basically everybody who can draw Toriyama style. Like the
Yeah.
studios like Toei, they can mimic his style pretty much one to one. Like
Oh, yeah.
there people have been able to point out like, oh yeah, Dragon Ball Super versus Dragon Ball Z, like the change in this and that, and this is like different from how Toriyama would have done it. And it's like, yeah, I guess, but also like he created that like very
Yeah,
recognizable
distinct.
art style. Like he's the guy to go to for this. I'm just worried about the story stuff. So like I'm taking a look at his very good Wikipedia page. And yeah, it says for Dragon Ball Super, he did the original concept and story outline with some storyboards and dialogue.
Hell yeah.
So he was like, they were like, "Hey, Toriyama, listen, you don't have to do Dragon Ball, but like, if you did do Dragon Ball, what would you do? Like, well, can we pay you like $50,000 and you write down 6 or 7 sentences on some napkins and then we'll go do everything else?" And he was like, yes, this does sound good. Okay, here you go.
Here you go. Goku's never kissed his wife. Not once.
Goku's a virgin. Don't ask how that works.
It's Saiyan biology. It's all I gotta say. Maybe he's the one who coined the phrase "Don't shoot. This man isn't black."
Yeah, he's like, listen, I've written up the plans. You have to include this one line. I don't think you can do it without like actually being racist or anything. So like, good luck. I don't think you're ever gonna produce your stupid little show. And then they did it, and he went, "You sons of bitches."
You son of a bitch! Like I can't be mad at anyone but myself. Just it's so funny. Anytime Toriyama lends his art to anything that's not Dragon Ball, there's always just a Goku, right? And Chrono Trigger is just red hair Goku.
Yeah.
Maro is Bulma. Is just straight up Bulma. Even in fucking Dragon Quest, some of the main characters just look like Goku. Dragon Quest 8 looks like Goku. He's just Goku.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, anytime that you get an art style that's kind of like that distinct, you really start to run into a lot of like same face.
Yeah.
And I mean, in particular, somebody who has that problem a lot is Oda.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like every attractive woman just looks like Nami. They all just look like Nami. You're like, okay,
they're either Nami or they're Robin.
Yeah, or some blend between the two. He's like, yeah, this is like 40% Nami and 60% Robin. That's different.
Yeah, he's like, I came up with one body type. Just it's your choice to make, like, do the face, right? They're different enough. I have to say, Luffy and Sabo look identical. Besides, Sabo's blonde.
Yeah. Do you think that he drew Sabo and was like, "Oh shit, he's too close to Luffy. Let me put him in a hat. Oh shit, that's just Luffy in a hat. Let me make him blonde. Damn, that's just blonde Luffy. Let me just give him a scar too. Okay, this is different enough. And I'm tired. This is fine.
They would just give Luffy Sanji's hair.
Yeah.
Not even Ace and Luffy looked like that much alike. And I thought they were brothers until they said they weren't brothers.
Yeah, they look pretty similar, but their faces are different enough. Whereas Sabo and Luffy have same face.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, it's funny. I guess because like Sabo his design is very how do I say? Not intricate. It's simple.
Simple, yeah.
It's simple. He's wearing a coat and a hat, and he had a pipe, and like Ace is wearing shorts and a hat. But he looks like Luffy. If you told me they were brothers and he never told me they were not related, I'd believe you.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like they share enough similarities where you're like, oh yeah, that's for sure. Like they could come from the same parents. That's probably fine. But if you told me that Sabo and Luffy were related, I'd be like, do you mean they're the same person? Or is that what you meant by that?
I think that's like Oda's like thing. Like, so you either get these very simple, recognizable, easy designs, like all of the One Piece crew.
Yeah.
Like Luffy, simple. Sanji, he's just wearing a suit, simple. Zoro, simple. But then, like, sometimes you'll just get these outlandish designs.
Yeah.
Which made me, when live action was coming out, I was like, they could never make this show live action. It can't be done. But like, lo and behold, they did it. They done did it, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
But like, we haven't really gotten to like the big enormous characters with like a bunch of shit on them.
Yeah,
Like,
which by the way, God, I swear this podcast just turns into a One Piece podcast every episode.
I'm
Um,
sorry, I'm sorry.
in the most recent issue of the manga, we've got some backstory on why some people are really big. And they haven't
Why?
they haven't named too many names, but there's at least one that we know where you're like, oh, he big, and that makes sense now.
Okay, well, who is it? Is it fucking Moria or whatever his name is?
Okay, here's a spoilers for like fast forward 2 minutes. Um,
Just don't.
all right, so there is a race in One Piece called the Buccaneers, and they are half human, half giant.
Okay.
And the first confirmed Buccaneer that we know about is Kuma. So they're
Okay.
just starting in this most recent issue the Kuma flashback. So we're
Oh,
gonna
okay.
get Kuma's whole sad story,
So,
and that's why he's so big is because he's a Buccaneer, and
but
now everybody is like, well, Whitebeard must be one.
and
Fucking
Kaido, Big Mom,
no, Big Mom is a giant, I believe. Kaido
really?
is just Kaido.
but
I don't know about
he's as
Kaido.
big. But he's as big as Big Mom.
He's an Oni.
Okay. That okay.
What?
Now that you say that, that makes complete sense.
What? Onis are big. I don't know. They're big
Has
monsters. Like, I don't know.
has that been confirmed in One Piece that Oni are just big?
Uh,
Because like, not all of them.
not all of them. Yeah, it's true. I guess Yamato's not that big.
Yeah. Hashtag not all of them. Fucking. It's just like I think it's just Oda's like, oh, I gotta come up with backstory why I want to draw this character fucking 9 feet tall. And what about fucking Oden? He's like 8 foot tall.
Yeah, people have thought about maybe Odin is actually a Buccaneer. This is
Did you?
a lot of this has come into question because you're like, now that you have like, oh, we have explained why this particular person is very big. You're like, there's a lot of people you drew pretty fucking big, Oda. They're like, yeah.
And some are just bigger than Kuma, and with no backstory for reason.
Yeah, so I'm wondering what happens whenever we come back from break. Like, are we gonna do just a big reveal? This is everybody who is actually part of this race.
It's not even gonna be in the chapter. It's gonna be like in the little tidbit before. They're
Oh
like,
god,
oh,
yeah, it's gonna be in the
it's,
SBS of one of the volumes.
yeah.
Of course it is.
It's gonna be like, oh, well, Kuma's a Buccaneer, but did you also know that like 300 other people are?
Yeah, like somebody for sure is gonna ask, like, hey, you confirmed this. What about these other things? And they'll be like, yeah, I don't really need to confirm that. Yeah, here's a full list. It'll be a fucking 40 people.
Yeah. Also, like everyone has to be like the same race as well. Like everyone is just an islander, right?
Yeah.
So like, it, I don't know. Like I don't know because like there's different people with like different colored skin and everything.
Mhm.
Like not even just white or black. There's people with like pale white skin.
Yeah.
Or like people that just blue or yellow.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I love One Piece and it doesn't need to explain anything and I'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm I don't know. I get why we're like being like, oh yeah, here's an explanation for like why this person is the way they are. Like here's some interesting stuff on their backstory. Like that's a cool thing, and it's a cool thing to learn more lore. But I will say, again, you introduce something that explains away a mystery that is tied to a number of people, and now all of a sudden you have to be like, well, what about this one? Well, what about that one? And if you get the answer, like, no, that person's not. That's not why they're big. They're big because they ate their Wheaties. Like, no one's going to accept that. And you just have to wait to be like, well, what about this one? What about this? Okay, you said no to that one. Well, okay, go to chapter 283, page 6, right here in this panel. Do you see how huge this man is? Yeah. Now you just have to admit that you drew him bad.
Like, all I'm saying is, like, don't. I get this lore. It's just like, if you would have told me that Kuma's just a big guy,
Hmm.
I would have felt the same. I would have been like, okay, that's just normal people can be anywhere from 5 foot tall or like 3 foot tall to
Hmm.
like 10 foot tall for no reason,
Yep.
and I would have been okay with that.
Yeah. Just no explanation at all is a fine explanation, honestly.
It's just, I don't know. I love One Piece, and that's not gonna be like, oh, this
Oh
backstory.
god,
Ugh.
we're gonna burn it down.
I'm still gonna watch One Piece until I die. I'm gonna be on my deathbed, and we're gonna be like 50 episodes until the end.
Yep.
Fucking.
Yep.
uh,
You're gonna be like, no, he said it's just 5 more months. It's fine. I gotta hold out to that. And they're like, he's been saying 5 months for 20 years.
no,
Oda's 400 years old. He's not even doing it anymore. It's just AI.
I don't care. I need to see what happened. I need to see the One Piece. They're like, they already released the trailer to Two Piece. Fucking. I don't know. I'm just saying. I like anime. Love me anime. One Piece is one of those things where I think he'll just keep releasing lore until the very end, and
Mm-hmm.
then even after One Piece is done, he'll release like a lore book, almost like the Hyrule Historian. And you
Yeah,
know what? I'll fucking buy it.
of course you will. Um,
Well, you would too.
the problem with it is, as with all lore books, like anytime that you have like you've got the author being like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of backstory, here's a bunch of like interesting stuff like you haven't thought about this whole world. You run the risk of somebody who knows more about your world than you do showing up and being like, oh, that doesn't make sense, that actually contradicts this thing over here, oh, that actually contradicts this other thing over there, and you're like, okay.
Well, that's already happening with the One Piece TCG, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like it's just Yamato, right? Yamato's like the big fucking ticket
Mm-hmm.
problem. Even though she's not gonna be like in One Piece for like the next 2 years,
Mm-hmm.
her I'm gonna say her because on the CCG card, the official TCG card that Oda put out on her Vivre sheet, she's classified as a girl,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people don't like that.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of six of one, half a dozen of another. Like I understand. It's a little the Yamato situation is always a crusty one to
It,
wade into
it
because nobody has any good opinions on it. I don't know. Just do whatever you want. It's probably
it's so
fine.
funny. It's so funny how like everyone's mad at Yamato, but everyone is like very okay and can come to like agreement with like Kiku.
Yeah,
And Kiku's in the same situation, and no one cares about her.
yeah. But I think it's because Yamato doesn't identify as a guy. Yamato identifies as a person that used to live and be
Yeah,
alive. And that's
Uh,
a weird thing. So as soon as
like,
you hear that, you're like, no, you're not.
yeah. Well, like other people have said that in the show too. They're like, "But you're not," and she's like, "Yeah, but I am."
She's like, yeah, but I all am. But I'm all am, you know?
Yeah, I've said it before on the show. I'll say it again. I think Yamato is canonically a female,
Mm-hmm.
a lady. I don't think she's like trans.
Mm-hmm.
I think she identifies as Odin, not a
Mm-hmm.
man, but just as like the legend and Odin because he made such a big impact on her as a child that now she sees herself as the new Odin. Which honestly, I mean, it's really cool. It doesn't make sense, but I mean, more power to her.
Yeah. I mean, that's
In
the
the
thing.
in the
I
grand
just
scheme of things.
it all just comes down to like, what this topic is so hard to talk about because it's like, well, you want to respect like what a person wants to be called. So if Yamato wants to be called Odin, you should probably call him Odin, right?
Yeah.
But also, I've never ever heard of somebody being like, I identify as this other person, and you can provably say,
Mm,
no, you're not, and I have to be like, yeah, but like, have some faith, like
haven't
just
you?
believe me, bro.
No, like this is like going back to like Tumblr and TikTok, sharing like headspace and kin
Mm,
fucking people.
like
They're like,
space
oh,
kin.
they're like, I've got like three spirits in my head, and one of them is like Edgar Allan Poe, and the other is Inuyasha.
Yeah,
Just
like,
that
okay, cool.
that's Odin. That's fucking Yamato. She's just like, I share headspace with Odin, except I am Odin. There's
Yeah,
no
so you know what? Odin's always in control of me. Who's me? I am Odin.
but like man, it's she's like, I'm Odin, but like everyone could call her Yamato, and she answers to that just fine. She doesn't correct them.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard to argue with.
Just- she's like, hey, I'm Odin. I'm Kaido's son, Yamato. I identify as Odin. They're like, but you're a girl and you're not Odin, and your
Yeah,
name's
but I
Yamato.
knew Odin, and you're not him.
Yeah, it's just also like we're just going back and forth harping on this fucking thing. But can I just say, watching the One Piece end of the Wano arc where Momonosuke comes and talks to the Flower Capital,
Mm-hmm.
it really made me emotional.
Yeah, dude. The thing is, like, all the way up to like that scene, very good. Like, he shows up and he's like, "Yo, you were free. From this point forward, like, I am in control. I will protect you. You will be free." Like, you're like, "Oh, this fucking great. God,
Yeah.
hell the fuck yes." And then
What?
everything for the next few episodes until we get back on the sea is like, you could have spent a little more time, like a little more time here. They're like, oh yeah, these characters died off screen. You're like, sorry, they what?
They what now?
Oh yeah, this
no.
person decided to just like not do this thing because they had a change of heart for no reason. You're like, sorry, what? They're like, yeah, no, don't worry, the Straw Hat's getting out of the ocean. I'm like, no, just a little more time. A little more time's fine.
Like, I think next episode they're about to leave Wano because at the end of this recent episode, they just got the wanted posters, and
Hell
like
yeah.
right when they get it, they're about to set sail.
Mhm.
So next episode is like the final episode of like Wano. It
Yeah.
has to be.
Yeah.
But like it was so good. It was like, man, how long did we stay in Wano? Someone said 3 years, but I feel like it wasn't.
It was at least 2, and it probably is closer to 3.
Now, yeah. But
Yeah.
I all I'm saying is I'm not gonna say I'm glad it's over. I'm happy it's over. But not because like it was long, but it was like really good. But like, oh no, I'm sorry, we're gonna be in Wano for like 3 more episodes because they gotta fight that tree guy from the Navy.
Yep.
I forgot about that dipshit.
Yeah, well, somebody has to fight. Somebody has to fight him. It's not really going to be them. Fine.
Well, I said we.
Yeah,
we
that's
gotta
true.
fight. We gotta fight that guy. But anyway,
It
yeah.
looks like actually the Wano arc started 4 years ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh god. What have I been doing with my life?
Yeah.
No, I can't say that. It's been really fun. It was fun watching. I wasn't on a week to week basis until I think Luffy was in the prison, right?
Mm-hmm.
But going from like Whole Cake Island into Wano, seeing the art change, God, it was so good.
Yeah, I bet. Like, I remember the internet kind of going apeshit for like, oh look, they like the art updated in One Piece, and I looked and was like, oh, that actually looks good now. That's crazy.
Yeah,
And then I proceeded to not do anything with One Piece for another 3 years.
not me. Like it wasn't even the internet that had anything to do with it. I think I was watching, like, I watched Mojo on like a top 10 anime fights or whatever, and one was like Luffy going gear fourth and fighting what's his name, the guy made out of like taffy.
Oh, you mean Mochi and the Katakuri?
Yeah. I'm so glad you're here that you remember names and I can't.
You're like, yeah, hell yeah. You remember the guy who's made out of gum?
Look, that's not far off of what could actually be in the show.
And then the guy says gum. Oh shit, no, I gotta damn it, I think of Luffy again.
But yeah, so like I saw that and I was like, oh fuck. I'm like, where's that at? And I looked it up and it was like episode like fucking 700. I'm like, oh. I'm like, where am I? And I didn't even, I hadn't at that point, this was I guess almost 4 years ago, I hadn't even been up in to Skypiea. I had stopped before Skypiea. I had always stopped before Skypiea because I was like, what the fuck is this show? And then I didn't look at anything. I didn't look up anything. I didn't look up any chapters. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And in a whole month or two of me just binging, oh man, I don't know, something like 10 or 20 episodes a night at work. Of just right when I get there, opening up fucking Crunchyroll on my phone and watching One Piece until like I got off of work. It was 12 hours a night of me just binging One Piece and then going home and watching One Piece. And then on my days off, just binging One Piece. I was in it to fucking win it. I wanted to know what was going to happen. Everyone kept saying it was good. I kept seeing everything and I'm like, fuck, I need to get there. And you know
That's
what?
crazy.
I'm a better person for it. I'm a better person for it.
The thing is, whenever somebody is like, "Oh yeah, you gotta experience One Piece," or like you gotta read Discworld, or you've gotta whatever it is, like any of those things that take like a really long time commitment, like watching all of Bleach, catching up on Naruto, whatever. Why? Like, I have so many other things I could do that's not that. Like, I could fit in 8, maybe 20 other series that I could watch, and you want me to do just this one?
I felt really good afterwards.
Honestly, I'm kind of jealous. Like, the sort of like stick-to-itiveness and the lack of dread around being like, you know what? I've got the time. I'm just going to, at work, just for the 10 hours every day, it's all One Piece all the time. I watched 30 episodes of One Piece a day. I could finish the whole show in about a month.
Yep. I did it. And that was what I did. Even on my days off at work, like 2 to 4 episodes before I went to sleep after work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I did it for a whole month.
You were crazy.
You gotta understand, Colb. I'm not you. I don't have a family. You didn't have a child at that point, but I don't have a family. Or I do. My mom, my sister, but I didn't have anyone at that point. I was living on my own. I had no obligation to anything. My time was just what I made of it. And you know what I made of it? One Piece.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Right?
And it was just a month. 1 month. 1 month of just binging this one show and nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds so enviable, right? Like, I want that life. Like, I want to be able to just say, like, you know what? I am going to watch all of Andor. I'm going to watch all of Ahsoka. I'm going to watch, like, every piece of Star Wars media just because I can to know whether or not it's good. And we'll see, you know? Like,
yeah, but you could do that in a week. If you decided to tomorrow, you tell your wife, hey, I am going to go to a hotel for a week and just watch every Star Wars episode and show and piece of media, and I'll be back in a week. You could. You're not, but I know you could.
Yeah, I also wouldn't be allowed to go do that. I'm like pretty positive.
That's fair.
Dude, okay, so the viewers at home may not know because this, like, there shouldn't actually be a lapse of time between like whenever we record, but I moved out of state, and
Yeah.
the problem with moving out of state is that it takes a lot of time and a lot of money, and currently I'm living in a house. Like, I'm looking around my office right now, and I've got, I think, 14 moving boxes around me.
Ooh.
I unpack just enough to be able to like work, and every night try to unpack two more boxes. And I'm just saying that, like, the amount of time that I have on my hands. And also, I moved like into another time zone, and so I'm like an old man that goes to bed at 11 p.m. now. I'm like, oh boy. Like I went to sleep between like 9:30 and 10 for like the first week that I got here. And one of the major things is because, like, while our stuff was still on its way, our house was basically one small chair for my kid to sit in, and then two folding chairs for the adults to sit in. And my wife was blessed with a beautiful ass, and I have terminal Hank Hill ass. And so when I sit down in a folding chair for more than 20 minutes, my tailbone hurts for 2 days.
Jesus Christ.
It's just not feasible. So what would happen is I put my son down to sleep, be like, all right, great, it's done. Let's order some dinner, or like, you know, have like heat up a frozen pizza or whatever, and then eat it in bed, and then take the plates downstairs. Oh, it's 9 p.m. Oh gosh, well, we don't have a TV. I guess we're just gonna lay in bed and go to sleep because there's nothing else to do.
I know the feel. Except I did something about it. I moved into my house a month ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think at like the beginning of September. Maybe a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. I hate moving because all of our stuff is in storage, and we had to get a U-Haul and get most of it in the house. And had to get some new furniture, got a new bed and whatever. But luckily for me, I was off when we were about to move, and I was able to get our couches in. On the first day, I was the only one with the key, and I had the house open. We had the couches come in, we had the beds come in, and I slept in the house with just the plastic was still on my bed, and I slept on my bed, and I made sure that on the first day we had internet, we had like electricity and everything going properly before anything else was moved in. And then slowly we've been moving in. And honestly, fucking great. I still, like, in my room right now, there's 3 boxes still. And there's probably still 3 more boxes in storage of mine that I just don't know what to do with. I honestly, and I hate to say this, I'm gonna end up selling some of my stuff, some of my pops in the boxes. I gotta go through them and be like, which ones don't I really like? And I'll sell them.
Yeah, that's the same process that I had to go through whenever we were moving, because like we got rid of a good chunk of our furniture, and the things that we were having to take, it was like, you have to be brutal. So you're like, do I really, like, especially I ended up moving with an entire box of like medals and trophies that I won in high school. Because my parents kept all that stuff in a box, and then they, like, it was in their garage after they passed, and so I took it because it's mine. And we just ran out of room to like, or ran out of time to like sell stuff off. In fact, it was so bad. My wife and son and their mom left like on one day, and that day I had to like take apart my desk and their desk, get all the electronics out, stuff it into the car. Did a bad job of that. Broke my wife's monitor. Feel very bad about it.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's like the most expensive monitor we own. So I was like, oh no, not that one.
Wait, well, weren't they like? Didn't they get it from work?
Yeah. So at the very least, we didn't pay for it, which is well. I mean, we kind of paid for it. Still,
you didn't pay for it, but you're gonna have to get another one of equal value. So you kind of paying for it.
Yeah. And so I get to the like. I finally do that. I'm like, all right, great. You know, I've put the cats into one room because they are going to fly on a plane the next day. And I'm like, great. I'm just going to go hang out with my dog. We're going to go outside. And like the movers finally got done at around like 8 p.m. And I went, grabbed dinner, came back. And that's whenever I realized that the room that I put the cats in, I was in such a rush to get them into the room, I didn't put a litter box in there.
Oh, no.
I came in and they had peed on, there was a full-size mattress that we're like, that's basically going to be my son's bed whenever he's like out of his crib. And we're like, all right, that full-size mattress, that's where that lives. And so I was planning on sleeping on it, and I get in there and I'm like, oh God, it smells like cat pee. I really messed up. They had peed through all of the pillows on the bed except for two decorative ones, through the comforter, and through the it had a mattress pad on top of it. All of that was full of cat pee.
No.
So I took all that stuff off. Like I took half of the stuff off because I didn't realize that there was still cat pee on part of it. Went to sleep. Woke up at 5 a.m. because the cats were woke up at 4:30 in the morning because the cats were being picked up at 5. Put the cats in their carriers, got all the stuff ready, sent the cats off by 5:30, and then pulled all the rest of the stuff off the mattress and moved the mattress to another room because it smelled so badly of cat pee that I was getting a migraine. Finally, after laying in bed for half an hour, I was like, I can't do it anymore. This is going to turn into like a really bad migraine if I don't watch it. And so I got in the car, I drove to the store, I bought, Advil, I bought allergy medicine, and I took that, came back home, went back to sleep for a couple of hours, and then through the rest of the stuff that we had, because there were a couple of things where like the people that like they packed and moved us, which is like, I'm very glad that I was able to do that. But also, if they didn't like ask me a question, they just didn't do anything with it. So like all of the cat litter boxes, like 2 of them are plugged in because they have like an auto thing that will like push all the poop out and stir up the litter. They just left those plugged in, and I was like, okay, I guess I've got to like empty these litter boxes and put them in the trailer. The mattress that I slept on, I got to put in the trailer by myself, and my wrist has been like ruined for the past few months. And finally, like, I get all of that done. I am sweaty. I can't take a shower because we don't have any more soap. Everything has been packed up. So I'm like, all right, it's my last day in town. I got to go by the coffee shop and go like grab like my favorite coffee. And then I'll start the drive, the 3-day drive to my new house. Right.
Yeah.
I walk into the coffee shop. The same barista from the day before is there. And I'm wearing the exact same clothes as the day before, but I look much worse. And I probably not only smell of like somebody who hasn't taken a shower and has been very sweaty, but also probably cat pee. So I show up and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to get 2 coffees. And I'm like trying to like stay away from the counter. Like, just don't smell me. And like, I thought like, yeah, I mean, they deal with like hundreds of customers every day. Like, there's no way that they're going to be like, oh yeah, this guy looks like he's wearing yesterday's clothes. And then I remembered that the day before, the barista that I was talking to was like, hey, I love your Tunic shirt. I've been meaning to play that game. So I walk in with that exact same Tunic shirt on, and I'm like, oh man, you for sure know. Oh God.
I'm like, still rocking that Tunic.
Yeah, still, I love this game so much. I did laundry
You're
yesterday.
you're like, I have two of these shirts.
Yeah, they're great. Listen, I watched it last night. Love it so much. I wore it again today. And it's like, did you wash it in cat piss or what?
Oh man, the barista's like, oh God, this fucking guy. I
This
hate
guy,
that he's in here.
can he? Hey, is there a way? Is there a way we can make it illegal to like be smelly in public? Because
Yeah.
damn,
They're like, you were cool yesterday. Today you're fucking homeless.
today I'm glad you're moving. Get out of my town.
Oh God, I can't imagine fucking moving all the way out there. Like this is a
Yeah,
house. This is a house I'm gonna die in. That I'm in
yeah.
now.
You did one too many moves. You were like, this is it. I'm done.
Look, the thing is, like, I've been moving for like the past like 4 months, just
Hmm.
from place to place to place, and I, I guess I just it's been in the back of my mind. Like, I knew my stuff was in storage, but like I've had like only the things that I wanted with me the whole time, which was
Hmm.
like my TV and my computer, and like nothing else. And I wasn't thinking about it. And then when I got my stuff out, like, and I'm unpacking, I'm like, oh man, I have too much stuff.
Yeah,
Like, and I already threw like a lot of stuff away, and I'm just like, this is old, and I don't like this is all fucked up. I don't want this in my room,
yep.
and I had to throw some away. I throw some of the stuff away now. Like I have a few boxes of like games, and I'm like, okay, I'm keeping these for sure, like all my Final Fantasies.
Hmm.
But like, I know I have a crate with just PS2 games in it, and I'm like, oh, I'm never gonna plug in my PS2 again because I emulate everything. I'm like, I'm gonna get rid of everything that I don't like for sure. Like I have Shrek 2, and I have like a Neopets game. That was back. This is back when I was like collecting, and like people would just give me games, or
Yeah.
I would find them for cheap, and I'm like, I don't need these games. I'm just gonna go like like sell them. But then I'm just like, where do I sell them? I'm like, would I get more money at a pawn shop? Would I get more money at like a retro game store? I'm like, what? Like, where do I go for this stuff? I'm like, I don't want to sell the market because then what if they just want to buy like one of like the 30 I'm gonna sell?
Yeah. Yeah, you show up like you show up with this big box. You're like, "Hey, here's 80 DVDs," and they know they've got you in a they've got your balls in a vice. Same thing happened at our garage sale. This guy came by and was like, "Oh yeah, I'm like interested in these anime DVDs. I'm interested in like these like original anime pieces of art." And like he was picking just like a couple here and there, and then he was like, "Yeah, I could take just this, or I could take all of it for $70." And I was like, God, it's for sure not like that's so much less than it would have been if they were all individual, but I can't, like, it's a garage sale. I guess it's fine. And you know that if you go into a pawn shop or you go into like a collector's market, whatever the hell, you show up with like a bunch of DVDs or a bunch of like collector's things. You're like, listen, I've got this box of stuff. Like, just tell me what you want. Then they'll be like, yeah, okay. I'm interested in like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these. You're like, I've got 40. They're like, yeah. Well, I could take the rest off your hands for like $10 maybe. You're like,
Oh,
oh God.
yeah. I'm thinking of just going to half price books maybe. Because
Dude.
like not only do I have like that one thing of like games of just PS2, I have another box of like Xbox and GameCube and like other games in there. And not to mention I have a box of just DVDs that I don't use anymore because no one in my house has a DVD player.
Yeah, that's the rough one.
Like I've been holding on to these things for like ever because I was like, "Ah, I always have a DVD player. Of course I'm gonna keep this collection." I kept like adding like because when I did have a DVD player, I'm like, yeah, it's cool just to have this. And like ever since I got into buying things digitally, I'm like, why do I need this big collection? I could just get it online, and then I'm thinking of like all the games that I do like to play from time to time. I
Mm-hmm.
could emulate them, and if
Yep.
there's an old movie that I want, I could rent it on YouTube for $2 or
Yeah.
anywhere. And I'm like, I don't sit down and like just watch these random movies every once in a while. I'm like, why would I have them to collect
Mhm.
dust? I'm not some kind of person that just like, I gotta preserve the media. I like when other people do that, not me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like it's the worst. Whenever you realize all of that, cuz like I had that realization, I don't know, 2 weeks before we moved, like the week of the garage sale. And I was like I looked at all of my DVDs and I was like, I'm going to watch none of these. Zero of these I'm ever going to watch.
Yeah.
Um and I just decided, I was like, you know what I can do? I have like 2 DVD drives on my computer. I could just rip all of these DVDs to my computer and then I can watch them whenever I want to. And then I was like, when am I going to do that? I've never watched some of these DVDs. Some of them I have. But when was the last time that I went into my DVD collection and was like, yeah, you know what? It's time to watch this old George Carlin stand-up DVD. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I've even thought of just getting rid of all the cases for the DVDs and just putting them in one big fucking CD holder.
Oh god, yeah, that's
Yeah.
honestly that's probably the easiest thing to do, but the thing about having a DVD and the alluring thing about like collecting DVDs is like just how it looks. Like having a full shelf of DVDs is
Oh,
like, oh god, that looks so good.
yeah,
Look at all
it
these
does.
and look, I've got so many good things. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's just I'm not into collecting like I was when I was collecting, and the DVDs that I have are just like very random. Like I know even like one of my favorite DVDs that I have of like Shaun of the Dead. It's on Netflix in a better resolution.
Mhm.
It's just there's no reason. Like I'll keep some of them, like some of my anime stuff, like all the Yu Yu Hakusho I got on Blu-ray, and because I got it as a for a gift one year, and I got all of Trigun. So
Mhm.
like I'll keep some of the like anime collections, but like they're basically just put in my closet and say, "Yep, I got them,"
Yeah,
and then nothing else,
yeah, and
nothing.
it becomes like a centerpiece. You're like, oh well, look at all my cool DVDs, and you like personally, if it brings you joy to like look at your collection and be like, yeah, I like that I have that, then that's one thing. But like, if anybody else comes in, you're like, yeah, look at my DVDs. They're like, cool. Anyway, you're like,
Yeah,
what? God, they're taking up so much space.
dude. Yeah, and no one comes into my room. Like really, no one comes into my room. So like, mostly I want to get like rid of a lot of this stuff. I want
Hmm.
to keep buying manga because I do read it and put it on my shelf. And when I'm thinking about like space real estate,
Hmm.
I'm like, what would I prefer on the shelves? My manga, which I read whenever, that I could easily I could just pull off the shelf and just read it,
Yeah.
or do I want DVDs where I have to bust out a DVD player and like connect it and set aside like 2 hours to watch a movie?
Yeah. And I mean, the thing is, we could be, if we're still if we're still doing this podcast in 10 years,
Hell yeah.
you you may be having this exact same conversation about like, well, yeah, I just moved and I just got rid of all my manga. When was the last time I looked at any of my manga? I just read it and then I'm done.
You see, with like I don't know, the thing with like books is easier. Like I've grown to where like yeah, I prefer unless like something like technological comes where I don't have to read the manga on my phone,
Hmm.
which I don't enjoy as much as holding the book in my hand.
Hmm.
But like it's easy to just pull something off the shelf. I haven't read this in a while. I'm gonna, read it again, and I
Hmm.
have all the volumes. Just that on the shelf rather than a DVD or a Blu-ray. DVDs right now are basically VHS tapes at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, at the very least, like books won't go out of style. Like even Blu-rays, like there may be a new piece of like media or a new like way of like having movies or whatever on your like on your shelf. Um there may be a new way to do that, but like books have been
Just
around forever, so like books are
just
just always going to be there.
A hard drive full of movies.
Yeah, a
That's what.
hard drive with like a screen on it to show you what's in there.
I've thought about this of just having like a thumb drive or a hard drive with like the letter A on it, and then I have like a list of whatever's on the hard drive.
Yeah, honestly, not a bad thing. Having an external drive that you just like plug in every once in a while, honestly, not bad.
Yeah, be like all these movies alphabetically are on this one, and just plug it in and watch it. If it's not available on any of the other streaming sites I already have, which would just be easier to go to the website.
Yeah, yeah, because I have done that before where I'm like, especially I have a couple of movies that were just not released in America. Like I've got the Ace Attorney movie, I have the Gurren Lagann movies that like weren't released in America. You couldn't buy them. So I've got a couple of them where I'm like, okay, I've got this on my hard drive. Now I have to like start up a Plex Media server, and then like on my PlayStation, I have to download the Plex Media app and then connect to a local server, and then that'll serve up the movie. But oh wait, the sharing has to be turned on. It's like, it's such a pain in the ass.
Yeah. There's if there's too many, if there's more than one step, I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like, why?
I don't know if this is because like I'm getting older or like I'm lazy. It's just everything is readily available already online without having me to like back in the day it was novel to be like, you want to watch a movie, because everyone had a DVD player like under their TV.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now like everyone has smart TVs, and even if like on all the streaming things you can't find what you're looking for, you could like go into like Amazon or YouTube and type in what you're looking for, and like 9 times out of 10 you could rent it for $3.
Yeah.
Even the Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's coming out in a week, I could go to a theater to go watch it, or I could start up a Peacock account and then take it off because it's releasing same day on Peacock, and then cancel the Peacock account right after I watch it.
Yeah.
Like, why would I do anything else?
The thing is, like, and I get the argument. Having moved like across the entire country because of potential problems that could arise in the next like 10 to 15 years, like I get it. However, I think the major argument there is, well, you know, if you like imagine you get rid of all of your media, and then it's like, okay, great, you know, we've gotten rid of everything, because, you know, it's all on Peacock, it's all on YouTube. Well, like, are those things going to be around in 10 years? Yeah. And if they're not, like, what happens to the media that was on that thing? Because, like, you know, there are still like some pieces of media that you can't get anywhere but a DVD, or like, can you even watch Outlaw Star anywhere right now?
Yeah, on Hulu.
On Hulu? Nice. Good.
I recently binged that whole show like a few months ago.
Good for you.
Thank you.
But yeah, there's older stuff like that where it's like, okay, you know, it probably won't make anyone any money, and so it's probably not on anything. Like, so you have to like either wait for a re-release on a Blu-ray or whatever the fuck. And like, even like G Gundam, like I bought the G Gundam Blu-rays because I'm like, oh yeah, that's gonna look so good. And obviously I haven't opened them.
Yes.
So like, but the argument there is like, well, where is G Gundam? Is it the same quality? Is it gonna be good?
It's okay. So G Gundam, to my knowledge, isn't on anything besides Crunchyroll, and it's only in sub, which is not the best way to watch it.
Oh, it's not. And that's the thing is like you get to, I get the argument that you're like, yeah, I want to be able to like watch this media forever, but also, do you? Like, yeah, no, like, yeah, do you? Is it worth the like 80 pounds of stuff that you're gonna lug around with you everywhere? Like, is it worth taking up, you know, 20 square foot of space just to be like, yeah, whenever I want to. I could watch the 6 episode OVA of Blue Submarine number 6. I could do that whenever I want.
Yeah, I could do that right the hell now.
Hey,
Like,
I'm gonna do it. You know what? I'm gonna do it right now, right in front of you, just to prove that I could do it. It's like, okay, great, cool.
yeah, but like, do you really want to?
Yeah.
That's
When was the last
thing.
time you ate? When was the last time you watched it? Huh?
Yeah. Like, if you can tell me that you just watch it for funsies every month, then yeah, that's worth it. But like, if you just have it sitting there and that's like, I kind of want to rewatch this series every, what, 3 or so years? Like, are you really? Is it worth it?
Yeah. I mean, even if it's the thing is, I would even challenge you on that. If you're like, yeah, like I haven't watched it. I don't watch it very recently, but like, yeah, I'm probably gonna watch it one day. Like, yeah, on average, I probably watch one every 3 years. I would challenge anyone to be like, okay, go through your DVD collection. What percentage of these do you watch more than once every 5 years? And I
None.
guarantee you, you're overestimating.
None. I can tell you right now without a shadow of a doubt, none.
None.
None of my DVDs have been opened in years. Years literally. And that's because most of the things I want to see are already like streaming. If I want to open Yu Yu Hakusho and watch it, I could watch it on Hulu. If I want to watch
Hmm.
Trigun, it's on Hulu. If I want to watch Shaun the Dead, it's on Netflix. Like, all
Yeah.
the every single movie I own is already online in some capacity. Or I could find a way to go watch it. Is the thing. So that's why it's just more of a burden to have this big box of DVDs that I thought, man, these are great and I'm going to keep them. I'm always going to have a DVD player.
Hmm.
Like, I never thought that I would just go full digital
I mean,
in my life.
if you take it like one step further than that, like you have, it's not just the DVDs, it's also like the DVDs that you got that are like collector's edition, like the steel bookcase ones, the ones where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, it's got the bonus content DVD, and like you're at the point where you're like, I don't, I don't
I
watch it, I don't need it,
I
I don't care about it.
I bet I can go to YouTube right now and type in like G Gundam box set special like edition
Mhm.
features, and it would just have that content right now. Someone's uploaded it.
Yeah, and the thing is, even if they haven't, did you need to watch that? Is it maybe it's
Were you
fine?
were you gonna watch it? Like, how many times in a collector's edition do you go and watch like the 2 hour behind the scenes fucking thing?
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember I bought the Urethra Chronicles, which is a Blink 182 documentary, and I watched it and was like, this is great. And then I showed it to I think Mike, and I was like, yeah, this is still great. That was the last time I watched that movie. Like there are movies that I bought where I was like, I loved this movie. I want to have it, and then I bought it, and then I never watched it. It just sat on my shelf, and just had it all the way up until I sold it at a garage sale for $1.
I can tell you right now, I've never, like, even though I thought it was like super cool, but like a DVD and was like, oh, this comes with like special like director and actor commentary on the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I've never once sat through an entire movie with a commentary on, because
Yeah.
I don't want to fucking hear what they say. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see the movie,
Yeah.
and right now they're interrupting the movie.
And here's the thing, like, and this may be wrong and cynical to think, but if there's anything in there that's really good, I'll probably hear about it. Somebody will upload it on
Yeah.
YouTube, and I'll probably like somebody will make a post that's like, "Oh man, the director's commentary on this was like crazy because they went into like how racist they are." Like, what? Really? Cool.
Let me see
Can't
that
wait.
clip. Post the clip. Let me see the 3 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't have to sit for an hour on a movie watching commentary.
Yeah.
I never understood commentary. I mean, I understand it. It's just, man, when I think of how many times I want to watch a movie, it's never with the director being like, "Oh, look, this part's coming up. I remember how many takes we took for this," and
Yeah.
like what fucking headspace they were in when they were fucking watching it.
And like if you're in the habit of like, oh yeah, I'm actually I like watching this movie and I'll just have it on in the background. And if you're like that's your thing is like when people are like, oh, I just put The Office on in the background, but maybe it's Anchorman or maybe it's like whatever, and like you just have that on in the background. Then yeah, maybe it's like okay, I'll put the commentary on, and then if anything is interesting, you tell people about it. But otherwise, you're like, that was fine. But for most normal people, you watch the movie one time and then you're like, oh, it's got the DVD commentary too. Yeah, I'd like to hear it, but I don't know. I just watched the movie. I don't really need to watch it again. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
watch it some other time, and then that never happens.
yeah, that never happens. The most things I would do in a DVD was go into the special features and look at deleted scenes or outtakes.
Mm-hmm.
But like DVDs don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
Fucking movies get released bare ass bones.
Mm-hmm.
You watch the movie or you have scene selection. You never there's never like, oh, deleted scenes, or here's the outtakes, or like here's fucking movie poster art that never got put out.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing on DVDs like that anymore. Nothing's worth my time to buy like a special edition to see that. Especially like even if they did, I usually just, again, and I hate to keep saying this, go to YouTube and
Mm-hmm.
see if a certain movie has outtakes or anything.
Yeah.
Like
And coming to
I
that realization is rough because like not only does it start to apply to movies, but at some point you're like, oh god, do I like am I really going to go back and play Luigi's Mansion on the GameCube? Like they're gonna
yeah,
re-release it for another console. I just buy it for that. It is like if I want to play it again, it's probably fine.
yeah,
Like we live in an age in which almost every game, like almost every like good or like well received game is probably going to have a remake at some point because that's just the state of the industry.
yeah.
Um, and so you're really, especially in like 2023, you're like, do I really need to hold, like that was a hard one for me. I ended up deciding yes, I'm going to hold on to all my old consoles, all my old video games. I didn't give away any of them. I gave away like duplicate controllers that I had, but nothing
Yeah.
like, um, but not everything. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm making the decision to hold on to it. But I guarantee you, if for whatever reason we have to move across the country again in like 10 years, they're gone. Like
Yeah.
if my son doesn't want them, they are gone. And
Yeah.
like, because I keep thinking, oh man, like my son has no idea how cool this game is or like how much fun it is to like beat Super Mario World or whatever. Also, he's probably not going to give a fuck. Like he's going to have a whole
Yeah.
generation of games that he's going to grow up on, and he doesn't need my games that I grew up
Yeah.
on.
God, I used to be that way when I was younger. I'm like, I'm gonna have a kid, and before they even play anything new, they're gonna play some of these old ones first.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're gonna play Super Mario World, and they're gonna play Legend of Zelda, and they're gonna play fucking NBA Jam.
Mm-hmm.
They could still do that,
Yeah.
except you don't need to fucking dust off a console and see if it works and see if the connections are all still on your TV.
Yeah.
If you have a computer, just emulate it. Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Just get an emulator on that and just put the old, be like, hey, look, son, these are the old games that your old dad liked when he was a kid. So like if you're like bored on whatever you're playing, just boot these up and see what I had going on.
Yeah. And like especially for older cartridge-based games, you're like, "Oh, well cool. I've maybe the battery in it is dead, so now I've got to replace the battery otherwise you can't save it." And like, "Oh yeah, the metal in the contacts is worn out, and now I've got to like god, like I don't know. Doing upkeep is such a nightmare, and I like it just the older that I get, the more that I'm like, fucking throw it away, make it all digital, throw it
Yeah.
away.
Dude, I don't even know why I have my old consoles anymore. I don't even plug them in. I just, if I was thinking about this the other day, I was like, man, I really want to play Ape Escape. I have it on PS1. I have my PS2 and I have the HDMI converter. I'm like, I could plug it into my TV right now and I could play it. I'm like, but I could just download fucking DuckStation and the files play to the game and just delete it and never
Mm-hmm.
fucking have to worry about it.
Yeah.
That's a lot easier than fucking busting out the old consoles and stuff.
Well, yeah, and if you're running it through an emulator too, the other thing you get is like, oh, I can save state, so I can save anytime that I want. I can hit the fast forward button and like just go through cutscenes that I don't want to watch. Like, you can give
No,
yourself a bunch of quality of life improvements, and you could like make the
yeah,
resolution better. And
yeah, DuckStation fucking uptakes the resolution and the makes it a lot more clearer.
God, it sucks. Like, it sucks. But growing up and being like, yeah, I like, because you really do. You feel like you're a historian. You're like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
preserve this for the next generation. And now you're here, and it's like, yeah, the method of preservation for the next generation isn't this old shit. It's like the information in it.
Yeah.
If you have the information in one form, you can transfer it to any place else, and that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I used to think like, I'm gonna hold on to this stuff. It's gonna be worth something someday. If
Mm-hmm.
I got like anything of my games that are like rare, because I know I have like a few, like maybe a handful of rare games,
Mm-hmm.
they wouldn't even be like, what is it when the grade wouldn't even be above a 5,
Yeah.
probably. So they'd be worth nothing.
Yeah, and like the most that you're probably getting for like a regular consumer grade, I've played this game before and I just saved it since I played it kind of thing, a few $100, maybe $1,000 if it's like a super
No.
rare game.
I could tell you right now, none of my games probably are a couple of $1,000. I think a few of them maybe go over 100, but
Mm-hmm.
like for a really good grade, I can tell you right now, every game that I own has the original case and manual and the
Yeah.
game. So that at most, a few of them are worth at least 100.
Yep.
But like, you have to find someone to buy it.
Yep.
It's you're not just like, hey, a few of these are worth 100. Who wants one? And like everyone raised their hand. It's
God.
just someone has to be in the same mood when you're selling it.
Yeah,
They're like, I need this.
I was looking. I was watching an episode of an old episode of Pawn Stars, and in this episode of Pawn Stars, like the treasure item that they found and that one of the guys found in this locker was an original NES, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember this. This is, this is vintage. A lot of kids like these retro games now. This is for sure got to be worth something big." And
Yeah.
he takes it to a video game expert, and it was not a GameStop, but boy, did I think they were going to go to a GameStop. So
Was it Gerard Khalil, the completionist?
oh,
I know.
I wish.
I I know he was on an episode of Pawn Stars.
Man, that's good. Man, now I'm wondering if it was. I don't know, but yeah, they brought in this NES, and the person was like, "Oh yeah, yeah. If you if you want to sell this, we could totally do that. They're like the rarest NES is like." If you look on the back, there's only like 50 of these consoles that were made, and it's like this particular serial number, and it kind of looks like this and whatever. And like, that's like the rarest one. And that can go for like, thousands of dollars. And then they were like, yeah, this is not that. And the guy's like, oh, okay. Well, how much will you pay me for that? And they're like, I probably wouldn't pay you for it. I don't think anybody actually wants that. Like, if somebody's really into NES and they really want to play something again, maybe $10. And I was like, oh man, that sucks. And that just makes
Yeah.
you think like, yeah, fuck. That's exactly what I'm doing with like nobody's
Yeah.
gonna want to purchase my PlayStation 3.
Yeah. Honestly, I can go online right now. There's a website where I could play in browser without having to download anything.
Mm-hmm.
Every NES game, every SNES game, Genesis,
Mm-hmm.
without having to go and like buy like a console, which most of the classic ones go for like $100 at a retro game store.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could play anything I want. I do it at work all the time. anything I want for free. For free.
Just free. It's just
Oh,
there.
the other day I beat Sonic 2 at work, and it took me like 4 hours, and I was using save states. It took me that long because I've never beaten Sonic 2 before.
Mm-hmm.
I've never beaten the game before with getting all the Chaos Emeralds, and I barely knew how. And I played it, and I'm like, how did anyone beat this game with all the Chaos Emeralds? I'm
Yeah.
like, these bonus stages where you get them are bullshit. I'm like, no, fuck this game. The game itself, pretty easy, really easy. Getting the Chaos Emeralds, bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, those Chaos Emeralds, like, I didn't even know that having Chaos Emeralds was a thing in those video games until, legitimately, it was until in Sonic Adventure. Like, I played Sonic Adventure, like, oh yeah, you get all the Chaos Emeralds, you turn into Super Sonic. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Is that, was
When did
that a
that
thing?
happen?
Was that a thing
Yeah.
in the original Sonic games? And I had to Google it, and they were like, oh yeah, if you get like X amount of rings, you get like Chaos Emerald, you turn into Super Sonic. And I was like,
I
you what?
I have to tell you, it's the worst. It started in Sonic 2,
Mm-hmm.
and if you get all 7 Chaos Emeralds and you get 50 rings, you can turn to Super Sonic. It feels like, remember in Super Smash Bros. Brawl when you had Sonic and his super was going into Super Sonic and it was
Mm-hmm.
just slippery and you couldn't control him?
Yeah.
That's how it felt.
Oh,
And
nice.
and you can't not turn to supersonic. So like in the later stages, when you're on the egg carrier and jumping, like platforming matters, or else it's insta death.
Mm-hmm.
I was avoiding coins. I was avoiding rings. Like
Yeah.
I was like, I am like, if I don't get over 50, like I won't turn to supersonic, because like it wasn't like double jump. Is if you like held jump, you just turn to supersonic, and I'm like, fuck. So I had to like save state every time I made it past the platform, because like if I accidentally turned into supersonic,
Yeah.
that I'm just
It's
dead.
all
I'm
over,
fucked.
baby.
It's over. I'm like, this is the worst. I'm like, why am I doing this? I was just getting pissed off. But like, I don't need the cartridge. I don't need a Genesis to play that game anymore. It's
Yeah.
just annoying now.
Yeah. It's holding on to getting stuff out to be able to enjoy something. If there's more than 2 steps involved in doing it, I'm like, I'm just not. I refuse. I just will
The
not
o-
do it.
the only time I recommend that you collect games is if your job is being an archivist.
Mm-hmm.
Archivist. If you're like some kind of video game preservationist,
Mm-hmm.
collect every game, I guess, or have stuff donated to you or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only time I recommend that you have all this junk, and if you have a big space to have them out, then yeah, do that.
Yeah,
Other than
sure.
that, just don't have them, because it's a pain. The only reason I'm gonna keep a few of the games that I want is because they meant something to me, and I don't even think I'm not even sure if I want to keep the consoles anymore,
Yeah. Yeah.
because like I have in my closet, I bought a shelf for my closet for all my clothes, and in one corner, they're stacked on top of each other, and they're like, you can't even see them, but I know they're there. Is just my original Xbox, which is fucking big.
It's huge.
It's huge, and I on top of that 2 GameCubes, and then my PS2, and then I have all the controllers and memory cards like stacked on each of like tier of them,
Mm-hmm.
and now I can't put like stuff that I actually want on like that part of the closet, because that's taking up the room,
Yep.
and I'm like, why do I have that there? I'm like, I'm never gonna play them.
Yeah.
Why is it there?
Yeah, and the thing about the original Xbox, like if you're thinking about the Xbox about as if it's like, okay, this is a small computer. Like, wow, that's a pretty small computer. It's like a pretty good size. But if you think about it like a game console, it's like bigger than any game console except for maybe the PlayStation 5.
Yeah, it's as big as a small briefcase, and just as thick.
It's
It's it's
ridiculous.
it's ridiculous, and it's heavy as fuck. I could probably like tie it to a pole and beat someone to death with it.
Yeah,
It's
It's a rough one. Xbox used to be the easiest way to get like an emulator machine. You'd be like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, like whatever emulator you want, you can like just stick on an Xbox and it's just dead simple. And so that's why
yeah,
Xboxes were around for so long. But now it's like, oh god, I don't need that.
yeah. Like I said, I honestly, I'm probably gonna get rid of them because I'm in my head. I'm like, they're really cool, but like here? Oh my god, this pissed me. This is I know we're like really late in the show, but this kind of annoyed me the other day. So I was on like I'm on Facebook dating, and
Mhm.
I matched with this person who I thought she was a girl. She's cool, but she's trans. But
Mhm.
nowhere in her profile says that she goes by he him.
Okay.
Until you go into her like her Facebook profile,
Mhm.
that doesn't show on the dating profile, and she doesn't have it on the dating profile.
Ah.
And regardless, we're talking, and first of all, like it was all normal, and then we're like chatting, and then she's like really annoying. We're not talking anymore because she messaged me and she's like, "Hey, I decided I'm gonna date one of my friends. I hope it doesn't feel bad." I'm like, "Oh no, I don't feel bad, thank God," because I was contemplating how I could tell this person I don't want to talk to them anymore.
Nice.
It sounds mean, but they were like annoying. Like the other day, they were talking to me and they're like, "Oh, I love retro gaming," and I'm like, "Oh, sick." I have a bunch of retro games stuff myself, and I have this and this and this, and they're like, "Oh, I wanna get an N64, because I'm a nerd, right?" And I'm like, okay, and
Uh-huh.
they're like, yeah, I want to get that. I could play that game all day, just the old Mario 64. And I'm like, you could probably play it online, like for cheaper and easier. Oh yeah, but I'd sit there all day and play it because yeah, I'm a nerd. And
Mhm.
I'm like, you keep saying that. I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm like, it's getting annoying. And I'm like, oh, I probably have that game. And then they're like, I want to get a PS1 because I want to play like Final Fantasy VII, I think it is. And I'm like, well, I have that game, and I'm like, it runs on PS2, and you told me I had a PS2, so all you have to do is get the game. It's like $30 online. Oh God, yeah, I'd probably be for hours playing that game, because I'm a
Cuz
nerd.
I'm a
And I'm like,
nerd.
stop saying that.
Dude,
I'm, oh
that's the
God, like,
biggest red flag is anybody that says I want to do this activity because I'm such a nerd. You're not. You're 100% not. You want to be that, but you are not. Like
yeah,
it's just a thing that you are, and you're like to other nerds. You're like, oh yeah, like yeah, this is what I like. This is what I like, and it's just assumed that like base level you're a nerd, right?
yeah,
You don't have to be like, oh
yeah.
yeah,
You don't
this is
have,
who I am. Like that feels like that's some shit that you say to someone who for sure isn't one. Like somebody
yeah.
who's like, oh yeah, my hobby is like watching the Dallas Cowboys and going to Golden Corral. Like that's somebody that you're like, yeah, I'm a nerd. I play video games all the time.
Yeah, that's something like you're already in the culture. You don't have to like proclaim that you are, right? That
Yeah.
doesn't mean anything. That like I keep telling them I'm like I'm just like I have all this stuff. Not once that I'm like I have all this stuff, because I'm a nerd, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking jabbing them with my elbow.
Yeah, because I'm
I'm
a
like
I'm a big nerd, huh?
you get it, right? I fucking whenever I play tabletop games, I'm such a nerd, right? When all my friends and we're throwing dice and playing D&D, we're goddamn nerds, right?
Yeah,
High five, up high.
yeah, you get it.
Like,
Geeks unite, right?
God, it was so annoying. But like that wasn't even the only red flag, right? So like they're furry, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. I'm furry too, but they're the worst kind of furry.
Okay.
they're they're like they have like a TikTok. I'm not gonna put them on blast, but they have a TikTok, and they they paint and customize those Jurassic World dinosaur masks, and they do their TikToks with that mask on. while also having like the pup play like puppy mask on. You know
Oh,
the that one,
yeah.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
I know the one.
oh,
I
and
specifically the reason why I know that is because a meme blew up on the internet about a guy that like was what wore that to his dad's funeral with his mom, and
oh no, this was like even I was still willing to talk to them and like maybe it's not that bad, and then they were like, yeah, I'm the alpha of a pup play group, and I have like 4 pups under me, but like nothing's like sexual about it. We're just they come to me for like if they have like problems or whatever. I'm like, I don't like this already. I don't like this. And one of the first things they told me was like, I'm friends with my ex. Is that okay? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I was like, maybe. I'm like, oh, I tried doing that and it didn't work. I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, we can keep talking and see what comes of this. But like every time they talked to me, it was so annoying. And I was already getting annoyed because like we were just chatting, like typing on Facebook Messenger, but then they started sending me like voice clips, right?
mm-hmm.
They stopped typing and just immediately kept going to voice clips. And the worst part is like mm, they sound kind of like Chris Chan.
Oh no.
They have like that cadence to their speech that they sound like, and I
Mm-hmm.
that's why it annoyed me more when they were just like, "Cause I'm a nerd, right?" And I'm like,
Like, yeah, bet you fucking are.
I'm like,
Bet you just got out
oh,
of prison.
and God, and I looked at their TikToks, and they're like putting their whole fucking life on TikTok, and I'm like, I don't like this. I'm like, I'm in a good place myself, and I don't need you to be like TikToking if we ever got into any kind of relationship. And
Mm-hmm.
oh no, I'm like, I don't need that. And then they live like 2 hours away in like Harlingen.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, like it was a big red flag. They're like, I could go up there, you know. I don't live that far away. And I'm like, oh no, we just started talking. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Ooh.
and I was like, no, I'm like, oh, let's talk for some more. And then today was the day that they told me, and I was just like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. Oh, whew.
Fucking, I was like, man, your pictures made you seem no, I don't want to say normal. That's mean, but like,
Normal.
that's mean, but
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
whenever you get news like that, when you're like, oh, thank God, like I don't have to keep doing this anymore. Like you have to pretend like you're like, no, don't go.
yeah,
Hey, it's fine. Like the amount of times that I've had to do that where somebody's been like, hey, it's no hard feelings, but I'm just thinking of like, I don't really want to do this. I don't want to like, or like, I don't want to go through with it. And especially like if I'm really like super nervous or like very anxious about like, oh God, I super don't want to do this. And then they do it first. You have to be like, hey, well, if you're not comfortable, 100% okay. That's a-okay. I think that's fine. No big deal. But you don't want to make it seem like you're really sad, because then they'll be like, well, I mean, oh, we could still keep talking. Like,
God,
we could,
yeah.
I don't know, like maybe in the future, maybe it won't work out between us. Maybe, I don't know, maybe am I making a mistake right now? Like, no, you're doing great. You're perfect. This is such a smart decision you're making. Please,
This is good. This is good for you, right? This is
please
great.
leave. Please leave.
But here's the thing, like we did do that. They told me, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, no worries." And then I immediately blocked them on everything.
Hell yes. God, that's so
I,
savage.
I was,
Yeah,
I
yeah, hey,
was
no hard feelings. Bye.
like, but like to them, they're probably like, "Oh, they were probably so heartbroken,
Mm-hmm.
like they just couldn't stand it." They're like, "I understand."
Yeah,
And
they
I
can't
was,
see me in my sexy wolf mask again. Oh no.
oh God, oh I dodged the big fucking bullet, like I dodged the battleship size fucking ballista round.
Yeah, the thing is, I imagine I imagine if you had continued to persist with this, our Christmas episode would have been 2 hours of just like, okay, let me fucking tell you about this guy. Ugh.
Dude, I'm just saying, like, man, and this was a thought in my head. I'm like, I like to go visit my friends, and what if they want to come with me? I'm like, do I feel comfortable with them around my friend? I'm like, I don't feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with them around me.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. I'm like, I get it. I I'm I don't want to say I'm not normal. I'm very average. I'm normal. I do this stuff, but if you're gonna go around and tell people you do this reason for X reason or because
Mm-hmm.
you're X, it's just like, man, don't tell anything about yourself. Like, just keep your mouth shut. Don't talk to anybody. Just
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like it's not like it's because I'm a nerd is so grating and it's so easy to get up in arms about because it's like, well, that's like nothing. That's just like a
yeah,
thing that's like your hobby. But people also go too far with like other personality traits of theirs where they're like, oh yeah, I can't like, I can't handle this like because I'm too OCD. And you're like, I don't think you actually have OCD. I think you just like things that are neat and tidy. That's a little different. I
yeah,
don't know how comfortable I feel with you being like, yeah, no, this is or people that are like, oh no, I couldn't like I couldn't watch this movie because it's too straight and I'm way too gay. Like, okay, all right, you don't need to
yeah.
make being gay your whole personality. Like, come on, man.
That's like if your wife was just like if you and I were like, hey, we're gonna go eat at this one restaurant. They don't have like vegan options, but we're gonna get it for like brunch. And
Hmm.
they were like, well, I don't want you to because I'm vegan.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
if like if your wife said we couldn't do stuff or they don't like things because they are vegan,
Hmm.
then I'd be like, oh man, why are you here? But like your wife's really cool. She does. They don't care.
Yeah, like like oh, yeah, I would love to eat at the Brazilian steakhouse, but oh, I'm just so desperately vegan. Like, ugh.
It's so yeah, that's the thing. Just don't make one thing your whole fucking personality. Like, I get it. I say that I'm a weeb, but like I don't go and tell people. I'm like, hey, my name is Felix. I am a weeb.
Yeah.
Like I tell people as a joke, but y'all understand it's a joke.
Hmm.
That's not how I talk in normal day life. I don't fucking. It's not on my business card.
Yeah, and like a dating app is like, hey, this is sort of like my best foot forward, a summary of who I am, the things that I like. It's not like it's you try to like put some personality in there, but you're not showing up and being like, hey, yeah, I'm leading with the fact that I'm a furry. I'm leading with the fact that I'm a nerd, and that's just who I am. You gotta deal with it.
Here's the
Ugh.
thing. I didn't know that because they didn't put that on their profile.
Yeah.
There was nothing. Like, it was just in the talks of like getting to know each other, and then they just kept dropping it one after the other. And then like when he started talking, it was just the way he talked, the cadence of how he talked, the mannerisms of the things they said about themselves. It was just like, oh no. It was just like, this is the worst type of person. This
Yeah.
is the worst.
This is the worst type of this is like me but lame.
Like, I am all for like dating someone and having them have qualities or like hobbies that we both like,
Oh yeah.
and that's cool. Like, they're like, I play Switch, I play Pokemon. That's cool. I have a Switch too, or I like Pokemon. I like this, but don't be like, I like this because I'm that, or
Mhm.
I'm doing this, or I lead a group of pup play people. Like, oh man, you're out of my realm of
Yeah. God, anybody that is an adult and is still like I don't know, being part of like an RP group where you're like, "Oh yeah, like me and six other friends like to like we have this
oh
RP group in which like we're all doing like I don't know, Gundam RP." Like I
no,
wouldn't lead with that ever. That's a
this
thing that you find out like deep. Oh yeah, I'm just hanging out with my friends. Like yeah, I hang out in this Discord. Me and my friends talk a lot. And then eventually you're like, yeah, okay, it's an RP server. It's just kind of a fun thing that I like to do. Like you're appropriately embarrassed by it. But if you lead with
yeah.
like, oh yeah, I spend half my time pretending I'm a dog on the internet. Like,
No,
I don't know about that.
this was IRL.
Oh, good. Oh, yes.
So like even if let's say I like that didn't bother me, or like I pursued this and we met and they were like, want to meet my group, and it's just like four people with like the masks on. I'm like, I'd feel so for all of them.
I mean,
I'd feel
to be fair, I couldn't handle that situation, and that's because like uncanny masks actually scare me.
That's so fair. It's just like I feel like they're judging me for not having a mask, and I'm just like,
you're like, no. You're the weird ones.
and that's not to say like I do what you're gonna do. If that's what you're into, that's what you're into. But like,
totally.
Man, just because that's what you're into doesn't make it less embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah, so back in college, I was the like I used to run an anime club, and the last year that I was there, the next to last year, I think, like we have a control booth in which like there was like a desk in there, there was a projector for like the theater that we're like showing all the anime on, and like 5 or 6 people are at any given time are hanging out in there, like eating or like doing homework or whatever. And the control room gets a knock on it. And I'm like, well, that's what the door's unlocked. You could just open the door. And I open the door, and on the other side of the door is someone in a full head to toe anime schoolgirl outfit. And with one of those creepy anime girl full face masks on.
Oh no!
Like the wig, the mask, like the whole head mask, like the arms had like gloves on them as well, so like toe to tip you could not see this person's skin anywhere. And I opened the door and froze because I was terrified. And so it took probably 5 full seconds of me just like staring ahead with my mouth open, like before I turned around to everyone else in the control room and was like, hey, we have a guest. And then this person walked by me, and as they walked by with their stuff, I walked outside. And immediately just went outside and was like,
and fucking cold sweat, just rethinking your life, rethinking your hobbies.
I'm like, God, is this really what I have to do?
And then you're the group leader, like you have to get in front of them, and they're just
the way that I had to deal with it is I came back. I was out there for 20 minutes, I think, just standing. Like an anime club is usually 3 hours. And so I was out there for a pretty significant amount of anime club, and I come back to the control room. I look at this person and I'm like, oh yeah, my head started to hurt, so I'm just going to lay down. So in the control room under the big desk where like the projector and everything, I just laid down under there, and I sent a message to like one of my other classmates that was in there, and I was like, hey, can you say out loud, hey, have you done this person's homework yet? That way I have an excuse to leave early. And sure enough, he was like, oh yeah, did you do the systems homework yet? And I was like, there was systems homework? Oh shit, no. Oh god, that's due tomorrow, isn't it? Ah, dang, fam, I gotta go. Like, you know, I second in command, you good to lock up? You're everybody good? All right, cool. Everybody just be cool. Like, Don't worry about it. Clean up after yourselves. I'll see you all later. Bye, everyone. Immediately peaced out. Like,
Oh
I'm
no.
like, save me. Save me, please.
That's horrifying. Like, man. Like the next time the group came together, there was just like a big message on the door. Hey, no masks or costumes allowed. Just
Yeah, please no.
scared.
You scare me. Just be very
Just-
straightforward. Just like, I was scared last week. I don't want to be scared again.
and that's so shitty. Like, they have to know, right? They have to know.
Yeah. And I finally found out who it was because I didn't know for
How could you?
weeks. Yeah, there was no clues. I was like, is this a new person? Is this a person that I've seen before? And it was someone that didn't come to Anime Club every week. They came to Anime Club probably once a month or so.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like finally whenever somebody told me like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this person, I was like, oh, I mean, cool, but also why?
God, yeah. Like, oh, I bet they were like scaring people on the way to club, and like if anyone saw them go into club, they're like, man, bunch of weirdos in there.
Yes, that was the major thing that I was like, oh god, everybody is like, if you came into Anime Club and this was your first day, you're like, there's somebody that wears a fucking costume here. I don't know that I could do that.
Look, a cosplay, fine, wear cosplay, but a full body just like
Generic anime schoolgirl with a full mask too. Like, come on, man.
oh no. Like, I before you told me that, I was like, oh, like that one episode of, I think, The Button, where like that one girl goes into The Button and she's dressed from head to toe as Kimetsu no Yaiba.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the girl with the pink hair, right?
Oh yeah.
She was just full cosplay, and everyone hit the button on her, and she was like, that guy was like really mean. I'm like, was he?
Yeah.
It wasn't the costume?
You don't
Like
think
that-
it's any part? Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
and like, that's the thing. Like, I get it. That's like, you love cosplaying, but that's not something you have like a first date. You don't, if I was talking to someone and they were like real cool and normal leading up, and then I meet them and they're just like, let's say we wanted to go to Olive Garden.
Mm-hmm.
They met up at the Olive, and they're in full cosplay.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do. I honestly, I don't know if I'd go to, I'd feel embarrassed, but like also I'd be like, why why didn't you tell me? I'd be like
Yeah.
angry and confused.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like at that point, I think you just have to go through with it and be like, okay, I'm gonna have a good story at the end of this. It's gonna be real bad the entire time I'm here, but I'm gonna have a good story at the end. Just gotta pull it through.
I could just never come back to this Olive Garden.
Yeah, yeah. This is my regular Olive Garden. They know me.
It's just, man, like, I love if someone's into cosplay. That's really cool, but like,
Yeah.
don't show up to like a social place when we're not doing anything like cosplay related. We're just having like a meal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be like, I'm gonna dress in my fucking Jujutsu Kaisen
Yeah.
cosplay and we're just gonna walk around the mall.
Yeah, don't show up with an eye patch and be like, oh yeah, I have to keep this eye covered because it sees the future. Oh, okay, cool.
Like, even that is fun. If they're wearing normal stuff and they have just the one eye patch and it's for a cringe reason, they're role playing in real life, I could get past the one eye patch because that could be passed off as maybe they got something wrong with their eye, so they're wearing an eye patch. That's fine. If they're like, I'm wearing this eye patch and I have my fucking captain's uniform because I'm a steampunk pirate from the future. That's a different story.
Yeah, and listen, like you have to let me know if my tail comes out of my pants, because it happens sometimes, and it's real embarrassing when it does. You're like, oh god, no.
You have to let me know if this store has like any, I don't know, fucking full moon iconography in here, because I might sprout wings, or my claws or horns might come out.
Like, yeah, humans really can't handle seeing my true form. I have a feeling you could probably do it though.
Oh man, like
I don't wanna though.
it's like, why didn't you wait until we got back home? Like, this is like a fucking bedroom role play thing.
Yeah,
this isn't.
I could maybe be like, all right, yeah, like you like to role play as, I don't know, your D&D characters. Okay, sure, weird, but like I could maybe get behind it, especially if it's like, if you're like, oh yeah, this makes me real like cock horny. Like, you're like, all right, sure, yeah, great.
Yeah.
You want me to call you want me to call you like Centaurian, the princess of the sky? Sure, okay.
Yeah, I'm like, as when we get back to the house in the bedroom, you can only address me as Karlak, the demon from hell.
Yeah.
Fucking...
Yeah, but if it's just us going out to Olive Garden and you're like, oh no, Suzanne doesn't exist anymore.
Like, I think there's a line that you can't cross. Like, you can't bring your role play, or even a step further, your kinks into public.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with like, you and I both have like hobbies, and we're both appropriately embarrassed about them. Like, if you were to talk to someone, because we're such nerds, if you were to talk to someone normal and you're like, oh yeah, like, last week I totally spent like 60 hours just like playing this game. It was really, really good. I had a good time.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be the first thing that you led with. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, I spent 120 hours getting all the stuff in this game. And they're like, hi to you too? I guess.
Yeah. But like, hey, my name's Fee. By the way, I spent a whole month of my life binging one show until I was caught up.
Yeah, by the way, you ever heard of One Piece? I hadn't until a week ago. Now I'm changed.
Now I have the devil fruit power.
Yeah, I am the Luffy.
My name is Felix D. Fucking Luffy.
Felix D. Luffy. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh fuck! What, like? I don't even know what my last name would be. It's so stupid. But there has to be a D in there.
There has to be a D. Felix.
It's because I inherited the lineage of D.
That's right.
You don't know that. You don't know that now, but I'll explain it to you in due time.
Yeah, you don't know anything about the D clan, but don't worry. I don't know much, but we'll go on this journey together.
Dude, and
take my hand. Will you join my crew? Will you become my Nakama?
Will you become my freaking second in command? And the whole time they're like, "Oh my god, get me out of here!"
They're like, "Why did I agree to this? At least it's well lit. At least I know this man isn't gonna try to kidnap me."
God, maybe. Oh maybe. Man.
Did you drive a pirate ship here?
Yeah, I think it would be worse if, like, I picked them up.
Yeah. Oh God. Listen. If you are a person who would be easily overpowered by someone, never let them pick you up. I'm positive you know that, like, because of being alive and in society. Don't date a person from the internet and let them pick you up. Just don't do it.
Dude, oh, man. That's I can't. I'm like in shock. Like, the amount of relief I have right now, and like, it's because like it just happened to me, so it's fresh. I'm so relieved and happy that, like, and here's the thing, like, I'm still on the fence of like wanting to date someone because I'm like already set my own like place, and if I date someone, I keep thinking, I'm like, oh well, if I date them for long. Well, we have to like move in together.
Have to move. You're like, I don't want to date because I don't want to move again.
Dude, that's the one. Like, I'm like, can you move in with me? My
Yeah.
room is big enough. Fucking, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to move. I just don't.
How about this? How about this? I have a great idea. You move in next door. I still live here. I'm not moving any of my stuff over. You just live by yourself next door, and I'll come and hang out all the time. But then at night, I'm
I,
gonna come back to my room and go to bed.
like, I could stay over on the weekend.
Yeah.
Just fucking, God no. Like that's literally that's the thing. Like, I want to date someone, but man, I don't want to move.
Yeah.
That's like my real big issue right now. And like right now, even my sister, she is dating someone, but he's like living with us when he's not doesn't have to go to work out of state,
Mm-hmm.
and that's great. And even if he didn't work out of state, he'd just live with us anyway. So like, if I was dating someone and they weren't attached to where they lived, I'd be like, just live with me. I promise it's great.
Yeah, listen. I've got this entire closet full of Xboxes. It's great. I'm such a nerd.
That's how you know I'm a winner. I'm a big nerd. Fucking, I just don't want to pack up my stuff again. I
No,
just got it. I just got it out.
yeah, I'm right there with you. Like in 6 months, I may be like I may have forgotten the pain of moving, but now I'm still in the middle of unpacking and like if you said tomorrow, "Hey, there's a bounty on your head and you need to move to another country by the end of the week," I'd be like, "Fucking come kill me. I'm done. I'm
I'm
just
like,
going to sit here and I'm done."
I'm done. I'm gonna fight. I will fight. Like you're one. Like, they're gonna have to come get me. I'm gonna fight for my life here in my house. From the back of your head, you're like, I don't want to move. I'd rather fucking. I'd rather have a percent that I might die, but I'm not gonna move.
Yeah, half my stuff is still in boxes. It's still too much to be expected to pack up half of it. I just can't. I just can't.
Yeah, so like that's why I'm not gonna say that's why I'm not dating anyone, but
Mhm.
like,
No, listen, you gotta fend everyone off with a stick. Fee, you're popular, mijo. You're saying nah. Hey, just I have one question before, like while getting to know you, I still want to like figure out who you are and all that. But big question: if we're still dating in 2 years, you're not gonna make me move, are you?
dude, man, that sounds really petty, but like I don't want to move right now. Like, especially for a relationship that's only 2 years.
Yeah.
Like I in both my relationship, I in the first year I've dated them, we had got a place together,
Mm-hmm.
and let me tell you, it's not as great as it sounds.
No.
There has to be like longer. Like, I don't know what the minimum length of dating someone before moving in together is, but it's not anywhere from 6 months to a year. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I still think 2 years is not long enough.
No, I don't think so either. I like when I moved in with like the first time that I moved in with a girlfriend, I distinctly remember the night before we were going to move in, my dad was like, "Yeah, so like you excited about this? You confident this is going to work out?" And I was like, "We'll see." And he was like, "That doesn't sound great." And I was like, "It'll probably be fine." I just had a feeling already. I was like, I don't know that this is gonna work out, but I don't
Yeah.
know. It'll be. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I have to now, because I guess because I'm older, I have to be confident that the person that I'm gonna move in with is gonna be the person I live with forever.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to, like, say I move in with someone and a year or so later they're just like, well, it's not working out, and then now I have to get my stuff and
Yeah, now
fucking
you gotta
move it
move
out.
out. Oh God.
Oh, and then I come back to my fucking old house, and I'm just like, my room's still there. Like, here's the thing: if I have to move out, I'm leaving all my stuff in this room
Yeah.
and only taking my computer, and be
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, don't fucking touch any of my stuff, because if it doesn't work out, I'm gonna come back and it's gonna be the way I left it.
Yeah, I'm gonna glue this door like right here, and whenever I come back, I'll smash through the door, and like it'll be like a present to myself.
I'm like, that. You just expect me back. Just Don't touch anything.
God. Okay, we
Man,
went
yeah.
way over time.
I know. I'm sorry. It's
No, this was good. Also, we hadn't like done a podcast in like almost 2 weeks.
yeah.
So you're welcome for your long episode, everyone.
Yeah, everyone. We didn't even get to one of the topics we wanted to talk about.
It's
But
fine.
it's fine. Everyone on the internet already talked about it, and I don't think we need to.
Yeah.
So.
Listen, you can, if you're listening right now on Twitch, hey, but if you're not and you want to listen live as we do this podcast, you just got to go to twitch.tv/GoGettasPod, hit the follow button, and you will get notified whenever we go live. We go live anytime between 0 and 2 times a week, and we will do this podcast live. The recording of this, though, is going to come out the same day that the podcast is. That's every Wednesday. The recording, the VOD of this gets posted on YouTube at around 2 p.m., and the actual audio version gets put on every podcatcher about 5 a.m. That way you can listen to it on your way to work, because we're just so dang considerate.
Hell yeah. We're two nice guys. We're just two nerdy guys who like doing nice nerdy things for you.
Just two nerdos that we're just out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, we've also got shorts that you can go watch on TikTok and YouTube. You go watch those. I'm great.
Wearing them now.
We're going to make more right now. We're doing it.
Right now. We're doing it. This in the 2 hours of this episode, I'm sure at least 3 shorts will come out of it.
I was going to say 1, but
well,
yeah,
I mean,
sure, 3.
I'm overcompensating because like okay, so the last episode we put out, 3 shorts came out of that one.
Mm-hmm.
But like the last short that came out of that one, I didn't even see it coming. Our editor was just like, "Hey, I thought this was funny."
Hey, I did this.
And you know
like,
what?
Hell yeah.
You know what? It was funny, and he was right.
You know what? He was right. He should say it.
Look, I love our editor. Fucking hashtag Zeta, I love you.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really cool guy, and he makes our shorts and our TikToks fucking bangers.
Yeah, and that's why they're so good.
It would be a disservice to him if you didn't go and look at him right now.
Yeah, go do it.
But
you owe
while
us
you're there,
and him.
Yeah, you owe him and us just that one nice thing. But also subscribe and follow and bell and you know the ones like.
That's one, right?
That's
comment,
yeah, right? Share.
Mm-hmm.
Bear.
Reblog.
Reblog. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Reboot. God, I love that show.
Me too.
So here's what I want you to do, since we're at the end of our episode, a very long episode. Here's what I want you to do. I want you
mm-hmm.
To get your best nerdy friend, your most geeked out friend, and I want you to come to an agreement, get an apartment, and move in together,
mm-hmm.
so you can just have two big nerds in one place.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to get all your stuff, put it in your house, get in your senpai mobile, and go get them.
Go get them. Geeked up, cheeked up. That's what I've always said.
You can't even come into my room if you ain't geeked up and cheeked up.
That's right. You won't even make it past my wall of anime DVDs.
You can't even park in my driveway if your car doesn't have a senpai knows best sticker. God, I saw one of those the other day.
God.
And I almost wrecked my car out of embarrassment.
Oh no, now I gotta die. One of us has to go, and I know it won't be you.
God, I think the sticker said something like senpai something, and it had a bunch of like anime girls in bikinis on the back of his car, and I was like, oh, I have to drive next to this guy?
Hell yeah. You were just intimidated. You're just intimidated. Listen, it's all in the it's all in the confidence of this car. This car said, you know what? This is a waifu car, and there ain't a goddamn thing you could do about it. And you were intimidated by that. You were scared.
I was scared to be on the same road as him. It's like,
God.
bye, bye,
Bye.
God, bye, later.